Hello and welcome to Ryno's Ravens Review. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Well, the Bums finally won a damn game. The losing streak is over. Holy shit. Baltimore Ravens 30, Chicago Bears 16. You can see I'm here on BaltimoreRavens.com. Let's get to this Game Center stat page. Huntley, fairly okay game, passing 17 of 22. That's pretty good. 186 yards isn't a whole lot. Honestly, I didn't think the Ravens really gained that many yards, but it did feel like they were able to move the ball when they needed to, pick up first downs, matriculate the ball down the field. Nothing too flashy, but the offense definitely ran better this game. Is that because Tyler Huntley versus, keep forgetting that asshole's name, Cooper Rush? Or is it the bye week help? Did having Patrick Ricard back help? In my opinion, no. I think it's Tyler Huntley because Tyler Huntley is more closer to the archetype quarterback that Lamar is. The offense doesn't have to change. The personnel that you put around your quarterback can play the same style of game. I don't know why they figured Cooper Rush would be able to run the offense as well overall. Not necessarily which play types running well, just overall why they thought changing the offense would work. Oh well. Derrick Henry, 21 rushes, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns. There you go. Tyler Huntley, 8 rush attempts, 53 yards. Mitchell, 4 rushes, 43 yards. Zay Flowers, 1 rush, 8 yards. Justice Hill, 1 rush, 2 yards. Saw a lot more of Keaton Mitchell in the backfield in this game. I kind of like that. I understand that you feel Justice Hill is a little bit better at all the things you might ask a running back to do. Pass block, run the ball, catch the ball. As opposed to, let's say, Derrick Henry or Keaton Mitchell. Though I feel like, why would Derrick Henry not be able to pass block? As big as he is, why can't he pass block? Okay, he can smash through everybody, but he can't pass block. I guess that makes sense. However, to a certain extent, I don't know what Justice Hill's contract situation is. I probably need to look that up. But with Mitchell being healthy and getting back in the flow of the offense, that might be a way where the Ravens try to save some money and not having Justice Hill. Because I'm sure Keaton Mitchell is cheaper than Justice Hill. Something to look at going forward. Flowers, lots of catches, 7 catches, 63 yards. He is turned into more of that possession type guy, the guy they're going to throw the ball to more often than some of the others. Like Bateman, 2 catches, 50 yards. Andrews, 3 catches, 30 yards. Hopkins, 1 catch, 14 yards. Starting to wonder if he is happy here in this offense because he does not get the ball thrown his way that much. Kind of something I was saying this whole time. He's like, you got too many mouths to feed. Maybe don't keep Bateman around. Keep a guy like Hopkins. Dump Bateman. I would save you some money. I mean, it's wide receiver. You can't get another wide receiver on the cheap that's cheaper than Bateman, but can do almost the same things. That might have been able to allow you to get a better pass rusher. Okay. I mean, do whatever. Let's get to the NFL's page. Got some more. I like the way they put in the stats better. Also, I can look at individual drives. Let's get to my key notes here. Defense finally able to get pressure on a quarterback when they really needed to. Feel that there were times over the past 5 weeks or 5 games, excuse me, where they just couldn't generate enough pass rush on, let's say, third down to force a punt or force a field, or to hold, maybe not to force a field goal, but hold it an opposing offense to a field goal. A lot different this game against the Bears. Now, is that because of course, looking at the schedule, the front half before the bye week, we know how tough some of those teams were. First, you look at the after bye week part of the schedule, because it's not really half the season. Lots, we'll say, weaker teams. Chiefs and Bills first 3 weeks, and the Browns were week 2. That's huge. I mean, they're the top of the top. Or who knows what it is, really. I mean, you have Roquan back. You had another 2 weeks of practice for Mike Green, who definitely, at least so far in his career, definitely had the best game of his career. Got a sack, forced at least, depending on how you would credit intentional grounding, which, yeah, I do. I'm starting to really think that they need to start giving defenders sacks when intentional grounding happens, because you got quarterbacks literally robbing these pass rushers. But, however, so at least 1 sack and 1 intentional grounding throw and force for Mike Green. That's, yeah. Especially in the first part of the game, or would I say the drive here. Mike Green sack on Bears. First drive holds them to a field goal. Yeah, that's huge. It's a third and... Let's go look at the drives in the first quarter. That's what I'm talking about here. Yeah, they did kind of move the ball up the field. But here, 3rd and 5, Williams sacked. 14-yard loss. Not only sacked him, but dropped him for enough yards that they weren't going to try it on 4th down. You drop him for a 1 or 2 yard loss, maybe to try 4th and 6, 7. I don't know. Today's offenses. Chuck it in the end zone, you got a 50-50 shot of getting a pass interference call. So that was a huge play. Yes, the defense did allow them to march up the field, but that does happen more often than you think. Some of these plays are scripted. Teams are trying to feel each other out. It's not uncommon for an offense to be able to move the ball on a first drive. But you're able to swing the momentum when your opponent is in the red zone, get in the backfield, sack the quarterback. That shifts momentum a little bit. What else I got here? I did mention the offense just looked like it clicked a lot better with Huntley back there than Rush. I forget his name. Something else I want to mention here. In the 4th quarter, something somewhat concerning here. This first drive that the Ravens had. Excuse me. A penalty, a delayed game. 3rd and 5, incomplete pass to Bateman. So 3rd and 5 from the Chicago 39. Now, it's no easy field goal, but it's a 56-yard field goal, which is, it should be makeable. I don't know why you think that that's not makeable, but the Ravens choose to try to go out there and get them to jump off sides and end up just taking a delay, a game penalty, and punting. I feel that is somewhat of concern. You drafted this kicker, and apparently you drafted a kicker that you have zero confidence in him kicking a 56-yard field goal? Really? You wasted a draft pick on a kicker that in your mind can't make a 56-yard field goal. When you're winning, it's not even like at the end of the game with time expiring, you got to make this 56-yard field goal or we lose. It's not even that. We're winning. If you miss, we're still winning. But no, we're up by, how much the hell were they up by? At least 10. Well, I guess they scored 7. So they would have been up 10, 16 to 7. And you don't want to kick a field goal there? Okay. Not sure how I feel about it. Well, I guess I am sure how I feel about that. I don't like it. Tyler Loop can't kick a 56-yard field goal, or you have no confidence in him to actually make it from that spot. Really? Wow. Okay. Something to keep our eyes on going forward. All right, let's talk about the defense, because I definitely feel like this felt like their best game. While the defense was only credited with 1 sack, again, they forced, how would you even call that, intentional grounding throws on several other times. And in key moments, to either force a punt or hold to a field goal. Something they were not doing before the bye week. Again, what could that be attributed to? A few things, I guess. More practicing, coming up with more blitz packages. Whoa, what have I got here? Maybe something that had led to that change is the personnel for their base package. Like most teams in the NFL, Ravens are using a nickel as a base package. It's a pass-happy league now. Now, the trade of Owe to get Aloy Gilman now moves Gilman to we'll say the strong safety. I mean, he's on that side of the formation. Is he the strong safety, or Stark's the strong safety, or are they really both just safeties and they're kind of alternating? That's debatable. But then that brings Hamilton into that nickel jack spot, and it kicks Humphrey back outside. That's different. Okay, maybe they have less speed at the cornerback position on the outside, but that brings Hamilton closer to the line of scrimmage. Does that help put your pressure on quarterback? Sure, because Hamilton's a little more, we'll say, physicaler. A little more physicaler? Sure. Than Marlon Humphrey. Hamilton does blitz a little better. He's longer, so he can get better length. He has more length, so therefore more leverage. Maybe not exactly more strength of, let's say, a linebacker, but being able to put your hands on a blocker quicker or sooner and from a different angle can help you. Though Marlon Humphrey was in the backfield a few times, so not exactly sure why it's actually working out that way, but So another thing, Chidobe Awuzie is, he was on the field. He did step on the field. We saw him from the injury report standpoint thinking, oh, Awuzie will be able to play. Well, he's not. He's moved out to he's the dime now. So when they're bringing in 6 defensive backs, that's Awuzie. He's the dime. Now he does go to the outside, and Humphrey then kind of kicks into more to the slot area. So there's that. Does that help? Sure. I mean, I guess. And another thing I noticed more, I do feel Trent Simpson got more reps. Felt like in those, again, before the bye week, when Roquan Smith was injured, or was not injured, when Roquan was in there, it was Roquan and Teddy Buchanan. Definitely saw Trent Simpson rotate in there a few more times than I think he really was before. I guess that those few games with Roquan out gave Zach Orr and the rest of the defensive coaches a little more confidence in Trent Simpson. Something there, another weapon to use from defensive standpoint. Sure. could have something to do with it. Wiggins' pick. Wiggins had a very huge... It felt bigger than it was. Or maybe it didn't seem as big as it was, or whatever. Bears' second possession in the fourth quarter, which I think is why it feels big to me. Because you're getting down to the end of the game. You need to get more stops at the end of the game to further increase your chances of winning. And again, the offense needs to get more points. Well, getting stops and getting turnovers in the fourth quarter can help the offense. And the offense can help themselves because the rules are in favor of them anyway. Help yourselves. You need a defense to help you? All right, whatever. Steps in front of the route. Snatches it up. And how many return yards they credit him with? Not many, like 9. Yeah, 9. Puts the offense in great position to score a touchdown, which they do. Now, didn't run too much time off the clock, but only 47 seconds. But, again, able to get another touchdown in the fourth quarter. That's extremely beneficial. Now, well, I will criticize the defense and defenders. I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying, oh, the defense is the greatest. I don't remember which play this was. This one here. 3rd and 10. 3rd and 10. It's your chance to get off the field, defense. You see Caleb Williams pass short right to Odunze, pushed out of bounds to 32 for a gain of 10 yards by Kyle Hamilton. Yeah, pushed out of bounds. It appears that Hamilton initiates his push with Odunze about 1.5 yards short of the line of game. Excuse me. Now, one would think, oh, he pushes him out of bounds 1.5 yards short. Well, Odunze able to pirouette his way around that push and dive forward for 1.5 yards. Now, if Hamilton wraps up and drives through, there's no first down on that play. Now, 1.5 yards to go. Do they go for it on 4th down? Maybe. But that's kind of why you're supposed to wrap up. You don't just... No, you wrap up and you drive through into the ground. Yeah. It's a little annoying. Did give the Chicago Bears a little bit of life at the end of the game, which you don't want to see. Oh, yeah, stats. I was going to look at these stats. It's, to a certain extent, I guess, about those forced intentional groundings. I guess that's what they mean by pressures, but at the same time, defenders get QB pressures without having intentional grounding thrown on them. So I don't know why. There's got to be something with the stats here. You got to give them sacks. If you're going to throw a flag and you're going to loss of down from the spot of the foul, or the spot, I guess the spot of the foul, where the quarterback releases the ball, why wouldn't you just also give the defender sacks? Oh, I guess you don't want to give defense more money, I guess, huh? That's what it is? Because that sure is what it seems like. But you can see credited with at least 4 pressures, only getting the 1 sack. Disappointing 6 tackles for a loss. Not too much in the pass defense department. Where the hell is it? They got a couple. Definitely playing well. It's still concerning to me, just the way they structure. And I don't know if it's because of personnel or if it's because of mindset, but they really only seem to have 2 defensive linemen on the field at one time. You think of Kyle Van Noy. Can you really consider Kyle Van Noy a defensive end? No, I just don't think so. Mike Green, maybe. David Ojabo, I mean, I guess. I mean, in a 4-3, yeah, I think Ojabo, his size, he could be a defensive lineman. Mike Green, I don't know. It is relatively early. He's young. He'll grow into his body a little bit more. So maybe at some point, maybe you could, kind of, but I just think they need some more beef up there. Help you in some of the run stuffing, but that's the problem with the passing game. You got to have more defensive backs on the field. It plays right into what the hostile wants. More defensive backs. Yeah. All right, let's talk about the offense. Enough about the defense, huh? What do I got to say about the offense? It definitely said, yes, Tyler Huntley definitely is not as good as Lamar Jackson. That's true. His throwing motion just seems, I want to say his throwing motion takes longer. Starting his throwing motion, it isn't quick enough to my liking. Now, what reason is that? Is it because that is true, or it's just maybe the trajectory of his arm is different? It's a longer windup. I don't know. But I do feel like got to get the ball out a little quicker than that. When you finally make up your mind to throw the ball to this guy, it's got to go. I think he takes too long. Now, at the same time, I'm not saying that Tyler Huntley is faster than Lamar, but on some of those run plays, Tyler Huntley looked like Lamar used to look, I feel. Are we just used to seeing Lamar Jackson run, and therefore now compared to 6 years ago, Lamar seems slower because we're so much more used to it? But Tyler Huntley looked fast. Now, does that have to do with his, what did I write down here? How did I describe it? Stay and throw versus take off decision. Which, I'm going to say Lamar Huntley. It's not Lamar. Tyler Huntley and Lamar Jackson, they both have that, where it does seem like nowadays Lamar, it takes longer to get to that point in his progression. He's looking at this receiver, then that one, then that one, then that one. Okay, now I'm going to take off. Or now I'm going to try to move out of the pocket, see if did that open up a passing lane? Did that open up a passing lane? Oh, no, now I'll take off. That process needs to be sped up for Lamar Jackson, I think. He needs to go to one or two of the reads, then move out of the pocket, look at one or two, and if it's not, then he's got to go. I feel like Lamar just stays in the pocket a little too long sometimes. Huntley, it definitely seemed like that process was faster. Now, is that because the offensive coordinator knows that he's not as good of a passer as Lamar and says, okay, don't go to your third and fourth read. Go to your first or your second read, and if neither are there, go. Lamar Jackson, yeah, he's a little bit more experienced. I'm looking at my first, my second, and my third guy. And then my decision to move is made. Huntley is doing it sooner, so does he look faster because of that? Because the whole process is going faster? Or maybe it's because there's not as much wear and tear on his legs as Lamar Jackson has. I think that's some of it. I think the legs of Lamar Jackson have slowed down. I mean, which to a certain extent is the norm. I mean, remember Michael Vick. Michael Vick did not stay the same speed for his whole time playing. It's going to happen. You're going to get hit. You're going to have lower body injuries. You're going to slow down. Maybe part of it is the way you finish the play. Take too many shots. Your legs get turned a little bit more. more wear and tear on him because you don't want to slide. I don't know. It's just me, I guess. I don't look at it as giving up on a play. Okay, you want to fight for another 2 or 3 yards. Why? It's just 2 or 3 yards. Especially if you have the first down. Stop fighting 6 or 7 defenders. Give yourself up and go back and get the rest of your boys to go with you. Attack again with stronger numbers. I guess my experience in the military has changed my thinking on something like that, where these guys they haven't had that. Maybe something there. All right, final thing to say on the offense. Patrick Ricard is back. Could definitely see a few plays where his presence was felt. And the first man to get in the backfield, at least when Ricard was in there, seemed to get found by Ricard. Okay, that's going to help. That's going to help. And it's not like when Mitchell Payton goes and finds him and Mitchell Payton gets pushed back into Derrick Henry. Yeah, Ricard doesn't get pushed back into Derrick Henry. If anything, Ricard does some more pushing and can get further up the field to Derrick Henry. That happened on a few plays. But at the same time, it did feel that they were using Patrick Ricard a little less than they may have in the past. Let's say going back to last season, because Ricard hasn't played much this season. So I'm going to chalk that up to, okay, he's just not in mid-season form yet. Whereas all the other guys are. So we'll see if that changes later. But I definitely, especially when they were leading a lot, I felt that we would have seen more of Patrick Ricard. Guess they just didn't want to tire him out too quickly. It's possible. It's possible. All right, good win. So let's wrap this up and get out of here. Real short turnaround. Going to Miami, playing the Dolphins Thursday Night Football. Yay, hooray for Thursday Night Football. So wonderful. Now, all of us have to change our schedules. Oh, well, that's fine. So, again, Ravens going to Miami to play the Dolphins this Thursday. So, going to change when I do my preview show to Wednesday. And I feel like I'll keep the review show to Monday. Let's keep something on schedule. So that's going to do it for this edition of Ryno's Ravens Review. Please stay tuned for Wednesday, and I will preview the game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I am the Angry Ryno. Dive in, Ravens.